What he will do is keep it simple.
Yeah.
Granit Xhaka's just
it's the opposite.
looking back or playing forward, and there's no simplicity to his passing.
Yeah.
Let's talk, we will come on City in a little while, but they just seem so preeminent. It's incredible. Brian, let's talk a little bit about your club, because you guys lost 2-1 yesterday against Spurs. And
you had your chance, Lawrence.
No, well, we've got the VT here of the protesting Newcastle fans outside sports.
People, the one in the middle of Newcastle specifically.
So
do we go to vent our frustration?
Right.
This is what he stands for, so let's go there.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it probably still sells stuff because at the end of the day, the people who work in that shop will be Newcastle people. But I think for that one day, they just needed a point of where we're going to protest. And personally, I'm just like as negative, probably not quite as negative as it felt in the Championship, because I really just felt like we were just sinking and sinking and sinking, and luckily Rafa managed to get everyone sorted.
Yeah.
But like, I get people tweeting and saying, "Oh, you're not going to make a video about the situation or whatever." And it's like, why would I devote a whole fucking video to the same thing I've been saying for the last, like, off camera before I started YouTube and since I started YouTube? Like, yeah, Mike Ashley's a shithead. Like, what of it? Like,
what do you want?
He doesn't want to spend money on the club. He just wants to keep it bare minimum, keep as much money for himself, make money off the club. And while we've got someone as good as Rafa Benitez who can somehow magically make that work, nothing will ever change. The only time he's ever spent money is when he thought my investment is going to be affected by the fact that this club is about to suffer. So that's the only time he's ever spent money. So if anything, we're very lucky to have Rafa, but we're also weirdly a victim of how good Rafa is, because Mike Ashley's like, well, that'll be enough for him, he's that good. And I just feel like it's like this never-ending story. And with the fans, they're trying to organise. There's like, if Rafa goes, we go. That's the sort of new tagline. Like, and obviously, like, you got to support anything that's against Mike Ashley. But equally, like, we've never really successfully boycotted a game or done anything major, like the likes of Liverpool have done. And I feel like the only thing, it's going to take major organisation and major togetherness from the fan base to actually really rock and shake Mike Ashley. Like, as much as he hates being the pantomime villain, he clearly doesn't give that much of a fuck. Like, we're going to have to literally all not go to one or however many games it takes to get rid of this man. I mean, like, that's the only thing that's going to cut it at this point, because he doesn't give a shit.
It's notoriously difficult to get rid of owners, though, especially owners who believe that they have an overall plan. Like the Glazers at Manchester United have obviously invested more than Mike Ashley's invested, but they've been very difficult to get rid of, and even the anti-Glazer movement is finding it tricky now.
Well,
Mike Ashley
they've taken out
700 million,
like hundreds of millions of pounds of loans against the club's name. This is why people at Arsenal now can really empathise. We've got an owner now who has complete control. Shareholders have been told, they've been getting their emails in the last week, it's time to sell up. That's it. The days of people having a say are over. The AGM where people were able to put questions to the guy who didn't even speak anyway, to be honest, that's now over.
Does it worry you?
I feel like it should be illegal. Like, I feel like what happens at Newcastle right now, where Mike Ashley is able to put Sports Direct everywhere and basically get free advertising for himself, and the club gets no money, the fans get no money to go on players or nothing like that. And the fact that he can have a season in the Premier League, sell Mitrovic for however much, sell all these players and barely spend a penny on good new players, and then pocket however much TV money it is. To me, like, that should be illegal. You should almost, if you have to buy a club, you should be almost sign an agreement that you will reinvest at least this percentage of the money that the club generates, because he's saying I'll reinvest the money, but he's not doing it. And like, the fact that someone like Shola Amiobi recently, who made so much more money than he ever should done at a fucking Premier League club at Newcastle because he was a local lad, for him to come out and side with Mike Ashley in the last week and say what a good businessman he is and fair play to him for what he's done at the club, I'm like, you took the fucking piss as it was for a well, not even a garbage player. For him to come out and say, like, well done to Mike Ashley, I'm thinking, I always thought you were shite, but at least you're a local lad. Now I just think, fuck you completely.
I think that the problem is, like you said, the hardcore fans are so hardcore, like that asking them to miss a game, like even in the hope of outing, is so hard for people.
Do you know what I think? Another thing is, Right, I take your point. I think there's the fan who doesn't want to miss a game and loves. Like, I've got lads who've got Newcastle tattooed on their belly everywhere. Like mates of mine who are just like extreme diehard fans. And then there's also the lads who think, do I want to sit in with the missus on a Sunday? Like, I know that they want to be out the house. They want to do. It's a social event, and they don't care about the club enough to withdraw themselves from the social aspect of going out on the piss all day and having that all day. So in a way, it's like, in order to help Newcastle now, it's time to be cruel, to be kind, and I don't see that happening. So what good is it if an irrelevant YouTuber like me, to Mike Ashley, makes a video calling him everything under the sun? When
but you can rouse them though.
No, but I can't.
You can rouse them.
Like, there's a lot of Newcastle fans who have an opinion of me anyway, as it is. Like,
I think Newcastle is one of those cities though where it's probably, there are certain clubs where you could definitely have that, where you could build a movement, but it's also fair to say that Newcastle is a city, from my own personal experience, where people don't necessarily always follow the guy that's going, I've got something to say. Like a lot of people.
Who does he think he is?
Yeah, exactly.
One of the problems that we've had in the past in the Newcastle fan base is there's a lot of groups, and I remember when I first came out as the Newcastle YouTuber, who hated me because I was getting any spotlight, because it's like the People's Front of Judea in the Monty Python, like when they've got all the little groups of who's the real people who actually hate the Romans, and that's what Newcastle fans are like when it comes to Mike Ashley. We're the one who want all the credit. And realistically, it shouldn't be about like fuck whose name is on it, whether it's Mike Ashley out, whether it's if Rafa goes big or whoever. It should be everyone comes together and just stops going at one point or another.
Surely it's Newcastle that should be the cause. That's what I find.
What I'm saying is, I have accepted now that the fans are never going to do enough to stop this guy from being our owner.
He knows that though. This is what I think.
He knows it.
It's so disgusting.
Yeah,
what he's
we can
done.
call him fat and this, that, and the other, but bottom line is, everyone still turns up, buys the tickets, buys the shirts, buys everything.
The whole city, by the way.
Yeah, because so many people just love the club, and I just think I'm done making full videos about how much I hate this guy. Like, and it's like you, Hugh. I can't make the same video for 4 years. What's that saying of what's the definition of insanity? Is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Like, got nothing more to say.
And just,
said that.
Bringing it back to City, sorry there, obviously trying it. Everyone might have a joke about us, and you've had a joke a few times with me, money this, money that. What we've got is a genuine, incredible owner who has invested money into the club, invested money into the local area, created hundreds, thousands of jobs in the local area. He's turned round East Manchester. He's turned round our club round.
Apparently he wanted to buy Newcastle first, but Mike Ashley wasn't willing to meet him on the day, and they diverted the helicopter or whatever to Manchester, and we didn't get that.
I love Mike Ashley.
I heard that though. I don't know how true that is. If it is though, like,
Is it?
I hate him with a fire of 1,000 suns.
So I think
that's all I'm saying.
I think the point is as well. A lot of people say don't complain about your owners because everyone's got an owner they don't like, because it's not City. But it's not like City have always been perfect.
No,
they have forced people out of the club as well, haven't they?
Your previous owner was a terrible person, though, right?
Yeah.
What?
The one before.
Never.
I don't know how you do it.
What a man! He still turns up in the stands.
My point is, I think a lot of people,
in prison?
a lot of people sort of think it's hyperbole with what they're saying about Mike Ashley. A lot of people go, "Oh, shut up! You've got a club in the Premier League." Blah blah blah. It doesn't have to be that way. There are people out there who can run clubs very well. I don't understand why Mike Ashley. It's almost a lack of understanding. Why isn't he reinvesting this money? There can't be a business reason why not, apart from him only wanting to pocket the money.
But if you look at the way he runs all of his businesses, when you see those behind the scenes of Sports Direct, and how his employees are treated from the bottom to the top, literally how he is. Have you ever seen Disney's The Great Mouse Detective? Ratican. He's the fat rat who just sort of, it's all coming this way and screw everyone else, and that's how he...
You can be Basil.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
You think?
I think you're more Basil, to be honest.
I'm more Basil.
I'm the little
It's the
fat
funny ears. I'll give you that. It's the funny ears.
I think that one of the worst things about it for me, right, is that I've been to Newcastle a few times. St James's Park, amazing stadium. You know that, I grew up in an era of Les Ferdinand, Peter Beardsley, Shearer,
Lauren Robert,
Aspria, Champions League football, winning against Barcelona. What he's done is actually take complete advantage of people whose lives revolve around their club.
Oh, definitely,
They don't have much more on offer.
If he did this to a club that was maybe disconnected with football a bit more, I think it would have been a lot harder for him. But because Newcastle are diehard, he knows he can just carry on
Because there's
it's
no
almost
way you're going to get tens of thousands of people saying, okay, do you know what, I'm going to
not.
sack it off this
You're not.
weekend. Let's just try and make something
No,
happen.
it's not happening. No.
It's almost as if the 1% in this country don't give a shit about the rest of the country.
Weird that.
Anyway, they're about to kick off in the second half.